Hello everyone, this is Margaret Fetty from the University of Sewing at the Tailored Fit, and I want to welcome you to our Friday Facebook Live. So this week we just got in a new line, and those of you who may also do scrapbooking probably know the name Tim Holtz. Tim Holtz is now designing for Free Spirit Fabrics, and we just got in his Abandoned line. And if you want something really fun, different, if you like the fabric that has words on it, this is the line for you. The colors are amazing. They're really interesting. It kind of makes me think of steampunk. I really, really love it. I think that this is just absolutely gorgeous. It's going to turn into some really beautiful things. We're making a sample right now of one of the By Annie bags. We thought that would be really cute. So we're doing that. But I am just in love with this, and I'm going to figure out some other things to do with it. I really, really like this line. So we have it online. If you put in the search engine Tim Holtz, these fabrics will all come up. This is the entire line that we've got going on here. And the colors are just spectacular. Teals and oranges, some electric blue. There's a little bit of a shimmer on some of the fabrics. These two in particular seem to have almost like a goldish shimmer, but it's very subtle. So go online to our website, universityofsewing.com, and shop the new Tim Holtz line. So we're going to bring you over here and show you some other things that we've got going on. Yesterday, we decided to create an in-store sale. We've got the Burnette Air Threading 64, and it is a dream machine. The price point for this, it has all the features of the big boys without the cost. And on top of it, we're going to offer it right now at $14.49, and you can get this machine from us. And we are just thrilled to be able to offer it. It's got the knee lift. It's got the extended table. It's got all the onboard tools, which apparently one needs two hands to be able to show you. So you've got a needle threader. You've got your screw. You've got your cleaning brush, your tweezers. They're all here. This is where you do the air threading, and we have a video on YouTube if you want to look at it, and you'll be able to see all the features of this machine. You can control how hard it presses on your fabric. You can control stitch length and differential feed. It is a 4-thread serger. It's just does serging and overlocking. It does not do cover stitching, but at $14.49 for an air threader that you can thread in any order, this is just an amazing deal. So if you think you might be interested in this machine, we have a limited amount of inventory for this for Christmas. And once these are gone, it'll probably be February or March before we get any more. So I just want you to know that this is a great time to buy this. You get lessons with it. We will show you how to use it. It's super simple. You will be so excited, and it's just a really wonderful machine. So let's move on just really quickly, because I know a lot of you went and tuned in today so you could see Heather Alexander. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but she's getting ready for you. So I'm going to show you some things while she's doing that. So another thing that you will see in an email later today is that we have this 790, and this 790 happens to be a used machine. Now, the story behind this machine is it's only a little bit less than a year old. There are no stitches on the embroidery unit. There's only 200,000 on the actual machine. So it is practically brand new. It has been fully serviced by our technicians. We're very pleased with how it came out. No problems with this machine at all. And it is ready to go home with somebody. And we've got it for the fabulous price of $8,999. And if for some reason you don't think you're interested in embroidery, which I think is silly. I think you should be interested in embroidery. But if you're not, we can discuss not having this embroidery unit come with the $790, but I think you should keep the two together if you can. So this is basically a machine that is over $4,000 less than a typical $790. It's a great deal. And of course it comes with all the accessories that go with it. It comes with everything that you would expect a $790, including trolley bags, so you'll be able to take it home with ease. Finally, before we head over to Heather, I wanted to let you know who we're partnering with this Christmas. Good old St. Nick. Santa Claus and I, we were partnering together, and we are doing free delivery on any sewing machine, any cabinet that you want to buy within 60 miles of our location here in Bloomington. So free shipping to your, or excuse me, not shipping, but free delivery. We will hand deliver it to you to make sure it gets to you where you're at. And this means that if you decide that you wanted to buy, say, a Q16 or a Q20, and you were worried about how it was going to get into your home, guess what? We're going to take care of it for you, and it's all free. So if you are interested in purchasing anything and you were worried how you were going to get it home, we can take care of that with you and with good old St. Nick's help. So everyone, we're going to go over and see how Heather's doing here. I still hear that quilting machine running, so I'm hoping she's close to where she is ready to talk to you guys. If not, I can always find more things to tell you about. So let's go over this way and go back to our Q24. How are we doing, Miss Heather?
I'm ready. I'm just about finishing up.
All right. So she sounds like she's ready. And here's Heather, everybody. And the Q24 is running. So how much fun is that? You get to see it in action once again. And I'll let her take over from here.
Thanks, Margaret. Today is my favorite day because we get to finish the end of the quilt and see it all stitched out and completed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish up here. I just finished a row, and today I'm going to show you how to advance the quilt, realign the safe area, which is the area that you can stitch in, and actually finish the bottom of your quilt also. So the first thing I'm going to do, now that I have stitched out this area, I want to move my quilt forward. So I'm going to unlock my bars here, and I'm going to roll it forward. And as I roll it, you want to be really careful that you leave some of the previous row, because you're going to use that to realign your safe area, which is the area that your machine can stitch out in. And as you can see right here, I'm at the bottom of my quilt. So I'm going to realign my safe area, and then I'm also going to cut off the bottom of my quilt now that I'm finished. So I get to show you two things today. So when you do this on the Q-matic, the first thing you want to do is you want to find a point on the previous row so that you can realign it so the next row will fit perfectly and nest right in the previously stitched row. So my recommendation when you do this is you want to find a really obvious point on your design. So if you can see on my design, I have a lot of curves and loops and circles. You don't want to pick a spot that's really vague and you're not going to be able to find on the computer. A circle wouldn't be good. A wavy line like that will be really hard to pinpoint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick something towards the center of my quilt. I always realign in the center, and I'm going to pick this point right here at the end of the design. You can kind of see where my finger is pointing, and that's going to be someplace that I can find on the computer. It's kind of, the design comes all the way here to a point, and that's going to be really easy for me to find on the computer. So what I do is I go back to that point, and I'm just going to drop my needle down to make sure that it's lined up right there, because it's going to be exactly in that spot on my computer. So I'm going to come on over here, and as you can see on the computer, remember the red box is where it is safe to stitch out. But I've moved my quilt, so now I have to move my box down so that I can stitch down. So remember that point I found. Here's my needle where it is right now, but that is exactly where it is on my design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my menu, and this is my repositioning button, And I always do a snap to point because it's a lot easier to get exact rather than reposition on the screen. So then I take my mouse and I'm going to go to that exact spot where I was, right there. And I'm going to push my button and the red, and that's where my needle is now going to go. And you can watch it move down. So now this is the safe area for my quilt, and that's what can stitch out. If you want to make sure that you're really, really exact, you can zoom in really, really close, and you can check and see how good you did at getting your needle right on that point. And you can realign it again, even if you want to get a little bit closer. If you have a design that is kind of like wavy lines or a stippling effect, it's a lot trickier to get it to be exact, but you almost don't have to worry about it as much because a wavy line, even if your line's moved over a little bit, it's not going to affect the overall look of the design. Now this pantograph isn't super tricky. There's some nice points on there that are real easy to line up. There are some that need to be more exact, and those can be a little bit trickier for you to have to do. So if you're a beginning long armor, I would definitely recommend going with simpler designs, less stitching, that are easy to identify the points that you could realign. And then as you progress, you can go ahead and try some of the trickier designs that have the lines that have to match up perfectly. So now I have my safe area realigned, but I also am at the bottom of my quilt. So now I also want to cut off the bottom so that I will be finished and my design will go all the way off the bottom of my quilt also. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my row and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to cut it at somewhere in here that will allow me to be at the bottom of my quilt. So I go over here to my scissors and I'm going to, this time, I'm going to cut the entire quilt, and it's horizontal, but the horizontal means the top, and now I'm at the bottom, so I have to do the invert button. So then I will be ready. Then I walk over to my quilt, and I'm going to find the bottom of my quilt. I'm just going to move my machine, and sometimes quilt bottoms are not perfectly straight. So it's really important that you check and make sure that your design will go all the way off. So what I do is I just take my needle and I go all the way and I'm off the edge, but now my quilt's a little crooked, so I'm going to pull it down a little bit all the way here. And if I know my needle is here and it's off the edge of the quilt, and it will be all the way there. So this is where I would like to cut the bottom. So then I come back over to my screen, and the plus always is your needle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And remember, everything that turns black is what is going to disappear. So this is the bottom of my quilt. These two rows will be stitched, and that looks good to me. So now I'm going to go ahead and press my check, and it will all disappear. So the rest of my quilt would be gone. Now I am ready to do these last two rows. And what I like to do when I do my rows is I like to link them together so that I can go this way and then I can go back and I'm all finished and I don't have to press any buttons in between. So I will reverse stitch this row. So it will go from left to right and then back from left to right. And I come over here to the button that shows the reverse. And then I'm going to link the rows together. So I'm going to press link, and I have the top and the bottom, and you can kind of see there's 1/3 row on here that was left, the top. I don't need that row because all it's going to do is a straight little line, and it's going to be off the edge, so I don't need that. So I'm not going to attach that one also. And then I'm going to press the check. And remember, before you can stitch, you have to trim the sides because my design goes outside of my safe zone. So I have to trim up my sides. And I'm going to do the vertical over here, and everything that turns black will disappear. And now I have to do the vertical invert, which is the other side. And then I'm going to line it up with here. And now everything in my safe zone should be ready to stitch out. So I press the play button, and it's asking me if I'm ready, and I'm going to say yes. Just going to think about it for a second. And now I'm going to start it at the start point. And it should be getting ready to go. And we're going to wait for it. So once these 2 rows are finished stitching, then your quilt will be all finished and you'll be ready to unroll it and take it off of the machine. And then all you'll have to do is trim up the sides and it will be all ready for binding. And here it goes. So once it's at its starting point, I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread and then I'll press the green check and it will go. And whenever you start a new section, I always watch it at first to make sure that my alignment fits. This design has to fit right in this area right here. So as it goes, I'm going to watch and make sure that it all lines up in there as it stitches. If your alignment was off in any way, you might get the designs crisscrossing, or they might not fit in that spot and then it would cross over, and you don't want that. At that point, I would probably have to stop it and rip out all the stitches and try to realign it again. And so you want to be really careful with your alignment so that you don't have to do that, because that takes a long time. But so far it's looking pretty good. The other thing you can do is check it. This row up here is looking like it's in the same place, so I should be okay. And the design should nest in there just perfectly. And you'll see it as it's going to stitch up towards the top here in a minute. Looking good so far. So just as simple as that, that's how you can realign the whole rows as you go and get your quilt finished, just that quickly. If you're interested in having your quilt machine quilted, I'm down here at the Tailored Fit. I come the second Friday of every month, and I'm here from 10 to 12. These are some of the designs that I have. You can buy the digital designs, and I have all my samples stitched out so that you can kind of page through them and find the perfect design for your quilt. I'll just take it home to my house and I will get the machine quilting finished for you, and then it will be brought right back here to the Tailored Fit and you can pick it up. And it's a great way to get your quilts professionally finished in a design that you get to choose yourself. It's really fun to pick through them and check them all out.
So thank you, Heather, very much for coming. We really appreciate it, and we love all this wonderful information about the Q series. And did you know that right now, through the holidays, that you can get any accessories for your Q series, your feet, if you can get also for your domestic machines, any embroidery hoops and any feet they need for 25% off. So that's a wonderful deal right now. It's a great way to get Christmas presents for the people you love. And I'm sure the Bernina owner in your world would really appreciate that thought as far as those feet or those embroidery hoops. So I just want to remind you that there's only 2 weeks until Christmas. That's it. We are down to the countdown. So gift certificates are available. We have the Creative Virtual Quilting event going on in January that you can buy online. We have all these different things, and we can help you figure out your purchases for gifts. If you have someone and you're not sure what to get for them and they sew, we're pretty good at helping you figure that out. Don't forget there's also the big book of quilting, the big book of serging, the big book of embroidery, all those things, the big book of feet. We have plenty in supply, and we want to help you get what you want to get your sewer for Christmas. So please let us help you. Our online store is theuniversityofsewing.com, and we would love to see you if you're in town. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next Friday.